Welcome back. Well, Naomi hinted at this in our last roundtable, but USDA kind of setting the stage with a notice that they could adjust acres in this August report that is coming out next week. And so, Naomi, when you look at that, possibly, what if we do see a reduction in acres? How would the market react to that?
Well, the reduction in acres, I think, is a viable thing because of the prevent plant that we're likely going to be seeing from Minnesota with as wet of a spring that they had, and portions of South Dakota and that Northwest Iowa corridor. Really, really soggy conditions. So the market is already anticipating that we might see a little bit of reduced harvested acres, but the question of how much is really what's out there, because when you also shift over to the soybean market, when they put out that June 30th acreage number, we still had soybeans to plant because of the double crop wheat getting harvested and then had to get the beans in the ground. So there's could be a lot of surprises on here, and I think just be ready for anything to unfold.
Yeah, Matt, what are your expectations with acreage, and what are some of these pre-report expectations coming out as we head into this report next week?
Yeah, I think clearly the USDA has got something in store. They wouldn't announce we're going to do this a month earlier than normal. Could there be a big reduction in acres? I don't know about a big reduction. When we stop and think about the folks that would have been reporting the latest, it would have been the ones that had such an issue getting a crop in the ground. So maybe you get a little bit of a revision lower as far as corn acreage goes. But me and my team feel pretty confident that even if you get that reduction, you're probably going to still take total production higher due to the fact that yield is likely to move higher. So, I don't look for anything outlandish, but as Naomi said, I don't think you can ever underestimate what a USDA report can do. Sometimes these August reports can be awfully volatile, and so I'd be prepared for anything, like Naomi said.
Okay, and we could also see some changes to demand. So, Naomi, when you look at this week, old and new crop soybean sales during the week ending August 1st surpassed analysts' pre-report expectations, but new crop corn was below pre-report expectations. So, knowing that we have seen some sales coming up, could we see USDA adjust the demand side?
I would be skeptical if they did, because they did that in the last couple of reports. And I feel like with the lower prices that we've been seeing for new crop, they already increased demand for exports, anticipating more export demand because prices have gone down. So with the flurry of export sales that we've seen recently, really all it's doing is getting us on track for where we should be for USDA projections. So the good news, other countries are buying our product, but I think other countries are waiting to see how low our prices could go here in the United States. And then also keeping an eye on geopolitics, keeping an eye on our elections. So there could be more export activity to come. I really would be skeptical that the USDA does any major changes on Monday's report, though.
Yeah, Matt, do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I do actually. To me, I thought that the July report, the USDA was, quite gracious when it gets right down to it about how much demand they injected into new crop balance sheets. Both corn and beans, you're looking at awfully strong demand that is being implied at this point. I thought that the July report was friendly in other ways as well, due to implied usage, maybe on that June 30th report, not quite matching up with July's USDA report. So I don't expect any changes to demand here. I think that most of the changes you're going to see are clearly going to be with regards to production. So, and like Naomi said, I mean, we're kind of catching up to what maybe they're predicting, but we've still got a long ways to go. These new crop soybean sales really need to catch up. China's finally started to nibble on some beans, but we really need to see a little more activity there for us to get super positive on what these exports might look like later on in the year.
All right, a lot to watch in next week's report. Matt, Naomi, thank you so much for joining us. So we need to take a quick break, and then we're checking in with Machinery Pete for Tractor Tales next.